you just watch the boxing?
I did just watch the boxing. That was great.
What do you reckon?
It was really good. Kell Brook looked really, really good. I was a bit unaware of how much they hated each other, I guess, before the fight. But then I watched that show you did with...
Oh yeah, with the Fight Disciples.
Yeah,
for Joe TV.
Yeah,
Joe TV, DAZN, and the Fight Disciples. It was cool. Yeah, it was cool. I've been researching loads this week, obviously with different events going on, and I've got the Covington Masvidal breakdown coming out. So I've been doing loads of MMA research. So my break from it has been to watch the boxing, and of course Kell Brook and Amir Khan. I mean, I've followed both their careers. I'm a fan of both. I know that kind of at the same stage of their career where they're both kind of they've what's the word? They've diminished a little bit, both of them. They've taken some big shots. They've had a couple of bad losses, but still, they're both excellent fighters. But the fact that they hate one another is just what makes it so much more interesting. Like they did these countdown shows; they're about 20 minutes long, and it kind of follows them through the camp. I think it was called Behind the Ropes. Just brilliant, really good. Good little bits of training footage, bits of sparring footage, great interviews as well. But like, just a constant back and forth between them. And then the press conference was good as well. And Kell Brook came in absolutely shredded and made weight when everyone else thought he was going to come in a few pounds over and like pay the fines. And then they made him switch gloves right before the fight started.
Yeah.
So apparently what had happened is he had some black and gold fly gloves on, which I need to get a sec because I've never tried them. But from what I understand, they were horsehair. And I've got a pair of horsehair gloves in there, and if you look on the label inside, it says kind of like good for 15 rounds. It literally says that on the label. It's like once they've been used for 15 rounds, they can't be used anymore for competition matches. So obviously he's got these horsehair gloves, and he's been working out hard on the pads. And they must have thought to themselves, he's worn the padding out the front of them. Like, do you know those ones I've got in there that we used against
Holyfield?
Yeah, the one. Yeah. So he's. They've got barely any padding in them, and that was one fight. Bear in mind they were heavyweights, but still, like Kell Brook hits hard, and you know full well that he's working that padding down those gloves. So as soon as he got to the ring, they told him that they weren't going to pay him unless he switched his gloves. So then Amir Khan now walks to the ring, and he's got this same pair of gloves that Grant, really nice gloves, but he's now warmed up in these gloves. So they're a little bit softer and a bit more comfortable, and Kell has slipped on a brand new pair of gloves and been laced into them and is not punching anything until he punches Amir. Like, that is a wicked mind game to play.
Would that be beneficial to Brook because they're still hard? So if he...
No, because it's because they what you really want is the padding to be as thin as possible, so they're feeling the impact of the knuckles and the wrap, like what we used to do in Thai boxing. So we'd put the glove on, and then obviously we're wearing lace ups as well. So they would, the first time you cross the lace over to pull it tight, they would do that there, and they would pull the glove so that it would like squeeze the padding down the wrist.
Right.
So you'd end up with this like little ball of padding that felt fucking rock hard. And then obviously when you've worked on that for a little while, and then the padding across the knuckles has started to thin, then it starts feeling like you're getting hit with bag gloves. And that's not pleasant at all. And I would imagine that was the game they were playing, because they thought Kell was probably worn his gloves into a nice hardened, flat surface. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked in great shape as well.
He did.
Yeah, really good shape.
He did. He went out, I think he was in Tenerife for his training camp, doing loads and loads of road biking and stuff. And I mean, it sounds like his diet's like just no cheating at all. It sounds like he's properly on the money. Yeah. Hell of a fight though. Really enjoyed it.
Because Amir Khan, I mean, obviously he was taking a bit of punishment, but he did look like he was diminishing towards the end a little bit. And just the pace of Brook, he was just constantly putting pressure on. It was good to watch.
Constantly putting pressure, but not always throwing. And and I think that was the thing that was forcing Amir Khan to work more than he wanted to, is because Kell Brook was always in front of him. So he was like, he kept trying to blitz him with combinations, but Brook was just tucking up and slipping. Like the power wasn't really bothering him, But then as Kell Brook started to pick it up, I mean, the thing is, I kind of think it worked out the best way it could, because had Amir Khan won the fight, it would have been, Amir Khan's had this hugely successful career, Kell Brook's kind of been in his shadow, and then he lost the fight, right towards the end of their career, and they'd have both retired. Because if Kell had come in and knocked him out the first round, which is what it kind of looked like was going to happen, then that would have been Kell Brook's proving his point. He's a better boxer and you've got no chin, which was the whole narrative going in. So the fact that he was stopped in the 6th after being hurt every round, but was still on his feet when he was stopped, that to me was like, okay, well, at least he's proven that he can take a shot and he's going to stay on his feet. So it was kind of, I hope they all got a bit of peace out of it. Of course, Amir Khan's going to feel like shit today. He's going to... And the other thing as well is, as they were walking backstage, like they followed him, had a camera in his face all the way along the corridor and backstage to his changing room. And like, as he's walking, everyone's going, oh, yeah, you know, oh, good effort. And he's going, yeah, thanks. Oh, you know, thanks. And like, as he's going, you can like start to see this like facade of like, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm okay, like start to fall. And it's like starting to set in. I remember feeling that after a loss, getting backstage and you're walking back to your dressing room and it's like you're walking into a darkness. Yeah. Just the realization of what's just happened and you can't take the day back.
Because once all the adrenaline's worn off and just the hype of,
you're out of the spotlight, you're out of the arena where it's kind of surreal, and you're backstage where you've been wandering around for the past few hours anyway. It's a familiar space, and now you're seeing all the people that are there doing their jobs, and they're all going, oh, yeah, well done. And you're like, yeah, got me, you know. Yeah. It's fucking horrible. Like that walk to that's why Forrest ran when he got knocked out by Anderson Silva. Like, get that shit over with. Yeah. Like, get me back to the dressing rooms, get my bag, and get me out of there. I felt bad for Amir Khan, but I don't think he loves it anymore. I think he said that in an interview this morning.